Yep, my name's Chris Watt and I'm the Labour candidate for Fairfax and Starbeck at the local elections for the new council, which happen on May the 5th.
And the kind of the boundaries are changing, aren't they? Is this one of those areas that has changed subtly? Just so people can understand, which areas you're representing. Where does it go from and to?
That's right. So the new council is going to cover the whole of North Yorkshire, with Harrogate Council being abolished. And the new ward combines the previous wards of Fairfax, which goes from the hospital up near the Empress Roundabout down to the railway line at Starbeck, but then also the whole of Starbeck, so Starbeck Village and the surrounding areas around there. So it's a brand new ward. It's a very interesting ward, very diverse ward. It's got a huge amount going for it, but it's also got its challenges as well.
So could you just tell us a little bit about your kind of work background and your, maybe background in politics?
Yeah, I moved to Starbeck 13 years ago. It's an area that I love living in. Me and my family are very, very proud of our area in Starbeck. I moved up here having previously been a parliamentary aide to a minister in the last Labour government for 7 years, and then I ran government relations for an environmental organisation for 3 years. So I very much know how to work with public bodies like the council, like Parliament, to actually get things done in the local community. When I moved up to Harrogate, I worked at our local hospital, Harrogate Hospital, for 6 years, and then I moved to a national role in the NHS, which I still do, and I'm very, very proud indeed to work for our NHS. It's a wonderful institution, and the people that work for it are an amazing bunch of people.
So the elections coming in May are quite unique because we're going to see kind of a year of sort of transition into a unitary local government, and then there's going to be a full 4 years term. So those that are elected in May are actually going to be there for 5 years. What do you see as the sort of main challenges for your areas that you're standing for?
You're right, it is a unique set of elections that we've got, with Harrogate Council disappearing and this new council that's going to cover the whole of North Yorkshire. We've also got the new wards. As I say, Fairfax and Starbeck are now in a combined ward. So these elections are very unpredictable, and of course a lot's happened since we last elected councillors in our area. We've had a pandemic, for instance. On the national stage, Labour's got a new leader who's doing a wonderful job, and we've got a Conservative government that is frankly really struggling, and we're hearing a lot about that on the doorstep. These are local elections, of course, so we're focusing on the local issues, but inevitably a lot of people will vote on national issues as well. Certainly when I'm going around on the doorstep listening to local people and chatting to them about their issues and concerns, the big things that are on people's minds in Fairfax and Starbeck are things like crime and antisocial behaviour, the local environment, whether it's fighting unsustainable housing development that's going to create more traffic and more parking problems in the local area, and the sorts of bread and butter issues that councillors have to deal with, like the bins, like dog fouling, and traffic and those sorts of issues really. So those are the really big issues, as well, of course, inevitably, is the local economy, because the pandemic has really, really hit local businesses, local people and our local services like the NHS.
As we see the borough councils go, we're going to see a single unitary council. How would you see, or how would you like your role to be in that unitary council?
Well, first and foremost, my role would be to represent the people of Fairfax and Starbeck. I'm a local resident of Starbeck. It's an area that I love, and I want to give something back to that area and to local people in Fairfax and Starbeck. So that first and foremost is my role, is listening to people and taking their concerns up with the new council. In terms of the wider picture, of course, as you rightly say, the borough councils are disappearing, so we've got this new larger council that covers the whole of North Yorkshire. And on the existing North Yorkshire County Council, Labour's actually the second biggest party, so the main opposition to the Conservatives. So I would work with Labour colleagues across the council to hold the council to account, to make sure that the voices of people primarily in Fairfax and Starbeck, but also across the wider Harrogate and Knaresborough area, were actually listened to and wasn't swallowed up by this much larger council that we're now going to have.
A typical question you'll get asked on the doorstep is why should someone vote for you? And what would your answer be to that?
Well, I live in the local area. I live in Starbeck. I regularly use local shops across Starbeck and Fairfax, use local services like our swimming pool, like our community library. I'm a big fan down at Harrogate Railway, our local community football team in Starbeck. So it's an area that I really love. I think it's a great community to live in, but it's got some issues as well, and I really want to give something back to the local community. I'm well known, I think, around the area. Lots of people have been stopping me on the street during the campaign and thanking me for the work that I've been doing, with colleagues across the area to help to improve our local community. So I really want to give something more back, and I think that being the local councillor, I want to be accessible to people. I want to listen to the concerns of people in Fairfax and Starbeck and make sure that they get the best possible representation to help further improve the already wonderful community that I live in.